Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the May 2023 edition of the Board of Directors meeting for the Continuing Committee. I am Maggie Geppert, the current chair of the board. I'm Jadzia Dax 8 on the forums, and I am also the executive officer. We have everybody today, so I will just go around from who I see in my top right. So we've got Brian Schafline, Jeebus here as our director of operations. Got Justin Ford, Resistance is Futile, who is our CFO. I see we got Charlie Plain, Midnight Lich as our director of first edition. Daniel Madison as our director of communications. He's OK Coyote on the boards. Got Chris Sonstaby, who is lore and our director of organized play, and Tiak At, who is Tiak on the boards and our director of second edition. Good morning, gentlemen. It's lovely to see you all today. I think today's meeting is going to be fairly short. Our agenda appears just to be, I didn't have any requests from the, well, I have one request from the public that I don't think we're prepared to talk about quite yet. But we have no minutes to approve because the last meeting Justin popped in late, which is fine. Justin popped in late, and I was sort of started to take meeting minutes and then stopped when Justin showed up. So we have no meeting minutes, which is fine. Maybe somebody will have ChatGPT watch the last meting and create some minutes for it. I hear that there are services that do that now. That'll sink into your Zoom and create meeting minutes.
Literally looks away from ChatGPT as Maggie is talking.
All right, so I'm gonna roll into the department reports then. So I guess I go first as the executive officer. Projects I've been working on. I think I mentioned this a couple of months ago. I've been trying to do these site features videos. A couple of months ago, I recorded some videos on how to use the deck builders, and I released those, but I think I mentioned that in the last meeting. I haven't gotten any other videos recorded yet, but I do plan to do like how to use the promenade, how to, what do you get from your premium membership, that sort of thing. So that's on my agenda. But the big thing that I have been working on, and I'm getting that done right now, is assembling promos. We got a big, huge shipment from Jeremy, our printer, a couple of weeks ago. Last weekend, my buddy Eric and I spent all Saturday afternoon cutting and edging promos. So I have all sorts of things cut out. First priority is the regional championship promos. So you've seen the images for them. Call of the Nagus is our foil for second edition. I have Ferengi Conference here for first edition. Somewhere over in the box of stuff, I think it's one convert is our regional Tribbles regional promo. So those are as soon as I get those assembled, I'm gonna one of the things to do is I will put those kits into the promenade so people can order them and not just do the regional fees, but can also order the kits for shipment. So that's what I've been working on as executive officer. So it's also the end of the semester for me, so things are a little nutty, which is why I apologize for not getting the agenda public until this morning, about 10 minutes ago. All right, so that's my report. Any questions?
I would just add regarding those two promos for regionals, those extremely not subtle get together and play with your friends titles for those came from me directly. And obviously with talks of people in the community, the Ferengi Conference, if anybody plays Ferengi, that's a really good card that you can use in multiple. And Call of the Nagus isn't bad itself either. Again, that's just not subtle. We're really hoping we get a lot of people to get together and play. So
Yeah, it's always, I know it's always enticing as soon as the kits go up, hey, ooh, let's buy stuff. So that is that's what I got going on here. All right, next is Charlie with the first edition department report.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I have been having audio issues all morning, so wave your hands frantically if I sound terrible. More terrible than usual, so
That's what you knew I was thinking that.
I knew you were thinking that. So yeah, it's first edition is marching forward. We're very busy actually. We did March Madness. I don't remember when our last board meeting was, but I don't think it was since the end of that. And that went really, really well. We broke our participation records almost every round. Because it was our 5th year doing it, we gave out tons of promos, and I think those have all been shipped out and people should have received them by now. So
I think there's some still in the mail system, but they're all in the mail system.
nice. Yeah, thank you both, Brian and Maggie, for doing that. Yeah, so we're making a ton of cards out of those. So we got 2 projects that are kicking off just with second chance cards from March Madness. And that's going to be fun. It's looking like next up is going to be a mini set called Ships of the Line. It's 18 cards. Bet you can't guess what it is based around. Yeah, so it's all ship related. There's a couple dilemmas, a mission or 2, and a bunch of ships. So that's probably going to be our next release while we are actively working to finish our TNG Cardassian versus TNG Fed set. We're mostly done, I think, with new cards. It's just fine tuning the 2 decks that come with it that are designed to play against each other. I play tested the other night and figured out we only have 2 of them of 1 mission skill in one of the decks, so that's not great.
Whoops.
But that's why we play test it. So that's coming along, and then we're doing a lot of looking at how we design and how we play test, and going to try some different things over the next year or 2. We'll probably do some smaller sets. We'll probably do some more taking themes and splitting them up some. We're still kind of working on all the details. So past the Cardassian TNG dual deck thing, I don't know exactly what's going to be coming down the pike next. I think it's going to be our AU themed expansion. But we have work proceeding on that. We have work proceeding on both of our Delta Quadrant sets. We have work proceeding on our 30th anniversary stuff, which is going to kick off next November 2024 through October 2025 will be our 30th birthday celebration for Winnie. There's some big stuff happening there, and we're doing some big projects to sort of clean up some of the pieces of the game that aren't working the way we want them to, and provide some hooks to develop on in the future. I know that's very vague, but like we're looking at doing some stuff with event destruction and immune to Kevin Uxbridge, which is always a confusing concept for non-veteran players. And we're looking at, I think we have a fix for report with crew coming down the pike that opens up some new design space and keeps things basically how they function now, with a few exceptions. And we have a big project fixing mirror match Nors that is just waiting for a few testing cycles to come out. So, I mean, there's just a lot of things happening, both in terms of new card development and internal projects. And I'm going to be writing more about what our upcoming schedule looks like and the changes that we're making in terms of how we make sets in the near future. So I think really that's where we are with first edition. With Tribbles, we really just need playtesting time. We have a set that I mostly like that there's a few just lingering, are we sure this is doing what we're doing? So if you're out there and you and your friends play Tribbles and you want to take a look at the new cards, send me a PM, because that's really the only thing holding us up at this point, is getting the last couple testing cycles in. So I believe that's all for me. So I'm going to be done.
Yeah, Charlie, on the Tribbles playtesting, I think what I'm just gonna have to do is I'm gonna say, all right, this night I will be on Lackey. Anybody who wants to come play test Tribbles from the Tuesday night Tribbles people, just show up, bring a deck, we'll test it. So because I find that anymore making meeting times that way sort of just works best. I'm gonna be here, everybody show up. So I'm hoping that I can get that in. Now that it's summer and I am not quite as crazy busy.
And I'm not, my comment was not, a criticism or like,
Oh, no,
we're not
I
getting new
know that. I
Tribbles
just
because
wanted
Maggie
to.
sucks, it wasn't anything like that. It was just, I know
No,
how it is,
that.
and
I
we
just wanted to let
need more
you know
time.
Yep, that has been on my radar for a while, to get that, just say, all right, come and join me on this night, etc.
Yeah, Maggie, if you wanted to, for me, if you need help, I'm happy to pitch in if it starts at, 7 or 8. That 9 p.m. Central Time starts a little rough for me. Grandpa Chris doesn't want to stay up that late, but yeah, I would totally play.
Awesome, that is noted. All right, so next is second edition. Tiak, go ahead and give us your report.
Yeah, so there was not much happening on the TUI side. We have a set that has been play tested, proofread, and I think Richard already coordinated some of the articles. I'm doing the timeline. I have nearly finished, and we hope to get this set being first card reveals this month. It's a small set, 18 cards, and that will be the last set before Worlds. The next set is too close to Worlds, so I didn't intend to push it, but that will be the next set afterwards. So this set is the last set, Project Justice, 18 cards, playable at Worlds. There will be coming a set of errata on the latest day, 1st of July, so you can prepare for Worlds or bigger tournaments. So have a look for these errata when you want to play bigger tournaments around Worlds. The timeline is 1st of July, so there are some minor changes, but 1 or 2 decks might be impacted. So have a look at that latest day, first Monday in July. So I don't know, it's not the first, but first Monday of July. Afterward, there will be the set Shackleton, which is the mission set that is already in playtesting. The concept of Shackleton was missions, but we intend to also give some support cards of personals related to the missions. We are working on that. At the moment, the missions are in playtesting, but we think about giving some support people or support cards for the mission. That will be the next set after Worlds. And then, depending, we are going to test Weedians at the end of the year. It will be late of the year we start testing Weedians. And when we go to testing with Weedians, we want to look for new affiliations we could do on the TUI side, and that is why Ross is going to run a poll to the community and ask what kind of affiliations do you like, which one do you want to see, and then we will have a look what we can do if we have ideas. But we first want to see feedback of the community, what affiliations they would like that did not exist on TUI. That is for the next step this year. For 2024, we have some other sets in the pipe that are on design, that are already designed, where we make final switches, but 2024 is open. The only thing that will happen in 2024 is we go to playtesting Weedians end of 2023, and I hope we can release the Weedians as a new affiliation in the middle of 2024. That's realistic, that we have a long playtest circle for the Weedians. It will be a big set. I think at the moment is 63 cards, and because it's new and we want to see the ideas, playtesting will take a little bit longer than usual. And if you are interested to test a new affiliation, everybody is welcome. Yeah, that's all at the moment from the TUI side.
Just a quick question, TJ. You mentioned new affiliations. Is that in addition to Vidian? I know that we've now seen Vidian on some missions, right? That icon.
Yeah, exactly. We you see, it's a long time project. The first was Weedians, and when we go to playtesting Weedians, I like to know what the community likes for other affiliations, yeah, except Weedians. Well, what you like? Okay, the next one, Weedians is set. They come next, but people might like Vulcans, Kazon, or so they should choose what they like, and we want to see what we can do. So because a new affiliation, it's a project over 2 years, 3 years, or something like that. But if the community says, okay, we want to see these affiliation, we try to do it, but we have to find good ideas around them. But first we want to see what is the idea, what the community likes. Do they like to see the Cindy, Vulcans, Andorians, something totally new? So yeah, Herogen, for example. And then the next step is, okay, what is the idea for the Herogen? Let's see. Community decides Herogen. Then they should have a special flavor. They should not end up like Herogen is for me the example. Herogen should not end up like Delta Klingons, yeah. So just strong and battle for praise or something like that. So that's a tricky part. But the idea is, what wants the community, yeah. And I'm really curious. I personally have my favorite. I like to see, but let's see what others say. And maybe they show up with something totally new. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I'm spitballing. I have no say in TUI, just to be clear. I want to clarify that. So let's say that we decide on Herogen, right? They're going to do personnel battle, and then instead of killing them, maybe they capture them and you score points.
Yeah. So we thought about what the best way. Should we say, okay, we have affiliation where we have ideas, or should we wait and ask the community? And I think because it's always a long process, we have enough time to say, okay, this is what the community wants. But when we have a good idea, we work with it. But when we have started, let's say the community says we are doing Herogen, yeah, and we start with Herogen, then we cannot switch it during the process after 2 years if the majority, and that's, we don't like Herogen anymore. That's not possible. It's new affiliation. It's always very, very challenging, and Ross will start a kind of poll, and I have no idea when he wants to start. I think he will start nearby, and let's see what happens. Yeah, that's all from my side.
Alrighty, then our next report is Daniel from Communications. How's your department meetings going, Daniel?
They're great. I tell you, I have perfect attendance with all of them. It's amazing. I don't have a whole lot to report right now. I'm not currently in the middle of releasing a set, although there is a TUI one on the horizon that I have not had a hand in scheduling because I was on vacation. So Richard New has taken over that. The biggest thing I have been working on over the past month or so is working with Charlie and with James about the conversion from OTF into modern.
Wow, you were so much better of a first edition director than me because I didn't even mention
You-
that. and
you
that was
completely
huge.
forgot it?
Wow. Yeah, completely
actually-
forgot that we did that. So,
In Charlie's defense, I thought you were saving that for me, so it's good. It's all good.
all right. I'll let you guys cover it.
We'll go with
Sorry.
that. That's why you didn't mention it.
I just let me give a
I'll
shout
let-
out to everybody that worked really hard on it. Then I'll move on.
Fair. I will let Chris talk about it in more detail, but from my perspective, part of it is just getting the word out about the change, some of which I've done, some of which I will continue to do. I want to, I'm going to, over the next couple of weeks, as because it's not we have not completely transitioned just yet. OTF is officially called modern, and that really is the only thing that's changing with it is the name. However, not everything with that has changed yet because the changes do not go into Lackey until the start of June. So we are taking this month to kind of get the word out and make sure everybody knows that the format is changing and why, or the format's name is changing and why the name is changing, etc. I plan on broadcasting this a couple of times over the next couple of weeks on Facebook, not just in our page, but in the generic Star Trek CCG Facebook page, because I think that modern is a name that makes more sense to a newer or a returning player than OTF, which a lot of people don't understand what that means or what that is. In addition, I still need to plot out when I'm going to do this, but I am working on scheduling another demo day, which we haven't done in a while, for sometime in June. And this would be a modern demo day where I would basically, I will sit in front of my computer for most of the day and stream games of modern, and along with anyone who'd like to jump in for a couple hours and participate. And you know, hopefully we can get a few volunteers to join up and sit in the chat and help answer questions. Like I said, we did this once before a few years ago. I had a lot of fun with it. I think it went really well. So yeah, once I figure out a date for that, I will let some people know and start broadcasting that. But again, I think that will be sometime in June, once the changes are in effect in Lackey. I think that's about it for right now.
That reminds me, I have to figure out how to change my Gen Con event descriptions now that they are all live and in the catalog.
And they're now modern.
When I submitted the events back in January, it was still OTF, but there's only one. It's only nationals that's OTF. The other one event is a OTSD, so it's open. But yeah, so I got to remember to go do that. Contact Gen Con and say, can I just make this one change, Gen Con? It's not going to impact the event at all.
That it will not change in the guide, unfortunately, but it'll change in the online guide, but not the printed one that they have. That's already done.
All right, so next is operations. Brian.
Let's see. James and Marcus did a lot of code checking for that OTF to modern change. We'll continue on that topic, I guess, because there is a lot of stuff that refers to OTF specifically. So that was interesting to watch happen. I did not have a hand in that, but they did a good job, I think. What else over in ops? We shipped a bunch of stuff out to folks. If you're expecting a promenade order, check in the promenade because you probably have a tracking number in there now. trying to think what else. Dan is getting ready for another raffle. So I don't know if that's been officially announced to everyone yet, but I might as well say it here. He's filling up the bins with stuff. We'll have a whole lot of prizes. So yeah, have your raffle tickets ready for that. I don't have a date yet. We're still filling up the bins, so get ready. What else? Marcus has been constantly working on the achievements. You guys see that he'll make a tweak. Someone will say, "Hey, this changed, whatever." And he'll go back. He'll make another tweak. So it seems like every other day he's tweaking something to make those better. So that is, I cannot overstate how complicated the achievement system is. The fact that he's able to keep it straight is amazing to me. So it is a wall of code basically for every achievement, and it is just amazing that he does it. So yeah, I have to keep saying he's doing this work because it's basically I wouldn't want to do it. So thank you, Marcus. What else? I can't think of anything else that's going on right now. I am sitting here watching a database backup happen, so I've got that going for me. Yes. Oh, and Charlie, you asked about the rewards store, and I'm sorry I didn't respond directly to you. So we're trying to get the rewards program, or I'm trying to get the rewards program into place. Part of it was I needed a new local server for testing on, and I have that now. And that's part of why I'm doing the database backup, so I can get current information onto my local system. So I'm hoping that will be back on track soon. And then I will let you know exactly when we can move on with that. Yeah, I don't have a specific date right now. I know last year I said, hey, in July I'll be doing this. And then last year things went wrong with it. My local testing environments decided it didn't want to work anymore. And yeah, I just did not have the time to figure out why. But Willie should be back. I should be back to developing that very soon. So yeah,
Cool.
sorry
Let me
about that.
know if I can help.
All right. Okay. I can't think of anything else, Maggie. So yeah.
Then next we've got organized play. And I see pets creeping into the video and my audio. So Chris, tell us about what's up with OP right now.
Yeah, mine, as we've heard from other folks, we all kind of tied together. You got the op side, the first edition side, and organized play. We are renaming, or we did rename OTF official tournament format to modern, and that kind of goes across the entire website. I haven't heard a lot of people expressing any angry feelings towards it. I think we all kind of agree that acronym jargon equals bad for a new or a returning player. And if I played through Q Continuum, for example, and I think that I want to show up in a tournament and my play one draw one is getting my ass kicked, at least I know that clearly the game is not the same as what it was forever ago. So I think that it's a big important change for us as an organization to push forward and make it very clear to people that you've got the traditional kind of format that they may know, and then you've got where the game is today. But enough of that. Organized play has been super busy since March 5th, our last board meeting. We've had dozens and dozens of local gigs, and I know I usually rattle off all of those venues, but we would be here until 2 p.m. if I did that right now. The long and short of it, a lot of people are playing, and that's what we want to see. We've had online return to Farpoint events, online return to Talos 4 events, online drafts, dojo stuff. I know there's some upcoming stuff for dojo as well if you're interested in playing Hall of Fame or other kind of alternative formats. As alluded to, we got the organized play guide up and out. If you have bothered to sit down and read it and notice any issues, please send me a PM. I have a couple of community members who already reached out, and there will be tweaks that'll come. We won't formally announce them because they're not going to materially be changes. It's some links that aren't working and some, formatting stuff. And I'm actually going to walk back one of the changes that went in there about how you pair buys. I've talked to people since, and it's a little bit different from how other games have worked. So I don't feel like the world is coming to an end. We tried to get those changes out ahead of regional season, and we did a okay job of that. We've had, I think now 3 regionals have fired off. We had online 2 events, and Atlanta had a regional. So the first in-person event went really well from everything I could tell. And then regarding upcoming events, again, lots of regionals, more stuff's happening online. I know Seattle's running their regionals, South Dakota's running their regionals. I think Charlie's old group, the Risings out in California, are running theirs. And there's a ScottCon that's coming up too over in South Carolina. So if you're interested in playing in person, a lot of opportunities to do that, not just regionals, but also just local gigs. If you are looking forward to playing in the ID draft, I'm going to sell that a little bit here with Maggie and I, and hopefully some others. We've got 8 people signed up for that. That starts Monday. And in a couple hours, our Queen Regent, the Asian sensation Lillian, will be signing out the draft pods to try to keep everything open. And I don't want to belabor the point too much, but I do all the mission packs for everybody for 8 players. I do all the draw deck packs for 8 players. I scramble them all up. I assign them out randomly. And then at the end, I find out where I'm sitting, right? So I make sure it's as fair as possible. I don't have any idea what I'm going to play ahead of time. And like I said, we've got 8 players for that right now. If we can get some more, that'd be great. I have no problem making extra packs. And then on the 1E side, starting on Monday, is the 1E Constructed. And if you want to get your balls smashed in a vice like me from Michael Van Bremen and Jared Hoffman and Patty Ty, and there's a bunch of really high level, strong competition in that event. That's again starting construction side for 1E in just a few days. So lots and lots and lots going on in the first edition side. It's that we've hit that point in time where regionals are firing off, continentals are kind of being thought about, who's going to qualify, when are they going to go. And obviously we starting now the Road of Worlds, we end in September, I believe, right? In the UK at Worlds. And that's going to be a great time for those who can make it. So certainly if you have any questions, issues with organized play regarding an event not getting flagged in the system, or any issues with, struggling with continental coordinators, or even just general questions about the OP guide updates, feel free to reach out to me. That's kind of
Chris and Daniel. So I know in the past couple of years with the pandemic, we were doing some manual tracking of buys. Is that cleared? Are we done with the weird scenario we were in, or?
We are done with the weird scenario we're in. However, the system is still not properly tracking buys, as far as I'm aware. It hasn't since 2019. That said, I have not been working on the list just because there hasn't really been a reason to. But I probably should get that caught up soon with Continentals coming up in a couple months. So thank you for the reminder. I will be getting that list updated probably sometime in the next couple of weeks.
And ideally, it shouldn't be any manual tracking. If you didn't cash one in from 2020, 2019, 2021, it didn't matter. This year is, you earn it this year, you use it this year, or you don't.
This year, if it were like, we are no longer bringing in unused buys from the previous year, or we're not carrying anything over anymore. We are now back to traditional rules of how buys are earned and used. It's just that I think our system is still not tracking them on their own. So as long as that continues to be down, I will continue to track that. I am not always immediately up to date on it, but I always make sure that as Continentals and World season ramps up, that I start to follow that very closely and make sure that lists are up to date before those big events take place.
Okay, I do want to make sure that that gets fixed so that we don't have to manually track it. So at
Yes.
some point when we have like a regional that happens, right, that'll be the first buy that actually will carry into something this year. So if that does not work, I'll start a conversation with you guys to figure out like what is supposed to happen and why it's not. So
In addition to regionals, there are buys that were generated from last year's worlds that carry over into this year. That should be the only thing, if I remember correctly.
Maybe Masters points, but I'd be really surprised if anybody earned enough.
We had one Masters last year, one, maybe two. Nobody earned enough points. I did keep an eye on that, but yeah, the way it's currently, the way the Masters season is currently written out, you would have to attend 3 to 4 Masters to earn enough points, and we just haven't had that many Masters.
I think we're gonna revamp that when the reward store is ready anyway, because it's all gonna switch from these different points to, whatever we call the reward, spot lose or whatever. So
yeah, and I don't think that's sharing it or spilling any secrets there. I mean, organized play talked about lowering that threshold for Masters internally, and then I talked to Charlie and it was like, let's just can it and let people earn those points, spend it on what they want to go. If you're going to play in 2 Masters and you plan to go to Worlds but don't plan to go to Continentals, give them the buy for, let them use the buy where they're going to go.
okay, that was all I needed. So
yeah, perfect. Regarding ops, again, not to take too long of everyone's time, we now did in the organized play guide, for whatever reason, draft and sealed have been not considered sealed all in one, even though constructed of all flavors comes out as constructed in your rating. And that's, I don't know if Marcus is working on it, but that finally got memorialized, where if you play in either a draft event or a sealed event, it should impact your sealed rating, your sealed lifetime rating, all of those things. And currently it's still, I think, wonky.
The way to fix that is the sealed rating should be renamed limited.
Well, that's a different format, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
No, what I mean is, like, in Magic the Gathering, constructed is anything where you are building your own deck, and limited is anything in which you are not building your own deck. So that is a catch-all that involves both draft and sealed.
but we do have limited formats that allow you to construct your deck. So
okay,
that's another problem.
Yeah. So the fix would be that we need to name it something that is more of a catch-all than just sealed. But
sure. Yeah, again, kind of a off topic kind of thing. Yep. But Maggie, I've talked too long. Who's next?
Yeah. I was going to mention, just for the record, one of the other big changes in the OPG update was you now get to keep your points in first edition and in Tribbles if you need to concede. So it is no longer 100-0 if you concede, or 0 or 1 pity Tribble if you have to like scoop and go for Tribbles. So that was another big thing that came out of the OPG. It is still, if you concede in second edition, it is still a 100-0 loss to the person who concedes. But yeah, that was another big update.
Yep, and that came just as a result of a lot of player conversations where you blew up my facility, but I scored 15 points from Scytherians, or I did process or mining and got 6-7 points. Or you're like Brian Schaefline and you score like 180 bonus points from blowing all the monsters up, but don't want to do a mission because that's not as fun. You should get those points because you worked for them. And it's just kind of a feel bad where it sucks that right now you get a 100-0. I mean, to me, I think the person who wins the game ultimately doesn't give a shit what their differential is. Differential is such a low tiebreaker in terms of in order. It's like third or fourth down the line. A win is a win, and if you got 15 points and we score at 100-0, I don't think that matters as much as now if the score is 100-80 or to 15, whatever. I want people to feel like they're enjoying the game, right? And I think it's still kind of crappy, at least in first edition side, where it's like you work for points but you don't actually get to have them. So Again, kudos to Charlie's whole team, rules, etc., who worked through that.
There, just FYI, there is still the whole points that don't count towards winning crap that we are actively trying to excise, so that it's complicated. Winning is not a simple beast, but you know, we don't want to go back to the days of, oh, I gifted the tormentor 100 points, I win. But you know, we need to it's a feel bad when you have a score and it doesn't count. So we're trying to make sure that happens as rarely as possible.
Exactly. And it's conversely, you know, this is TD discretion. You're not going to let people game the system and, you know, scoop right before something happens where their score would get affected. No, like the concession of this game is not worth playing out. I don't want to sit here for half an hour and watch you play solitaire. Those kind of scenarios is where it's usually going to come into play.
Yep.
All right, our last department report, I believe, is Justin. So tell us about our finances, Justin.
Oh yeah, well, the last 2 months, as I've alluded, it's been pretty rough. All I have to say is cancer can just die a fiery death. We lost a pretty close person at work to cancer last month, so that's been pretty rough. But we're back on track. I've got everything ready to publish on the website this evening. Looking pretty good. 2022 was a pretty good year, probably one of the better years of managing expenses to what is coming in. So that's amazing. And got the PayPal updates done finally. Apparently that ball had got dropped, but automation is in place, so that's good. It's been pretty quiet, so it's just always good. You know, you never want to hear, oh, we have issues with money. No. We've got plenty of money to keep the lights on. We're doing pretty good. No really big purchases. Like I said, we just bought the play mats for Frank for this year. Won't have really any big probably purchase till either to the end of the year or the start of 2024. So we are in.
Justin, not true. We need more foil paper.
Well, that's not that big of an expense. Playmats were the biggest expense, but yeah, it's about $100. So we'll be getting some more paper sent to Jeremy, but that's not too bad. Busy getting Continental stuff put together. Looks like I will now be pushing back printing random packs until after July 1st to make sure that errata is factored into the pack generator for the sealed events. It looks like we are a 1E crowd. We got 9 registered 1E players for Continentals this year so far, and 5 2E and 6 for Tribbles. So
Justin, let me know if you need more different virtual pack generators, and I'll try to get those ready for you, because that's what we did the last couple of years too.
IDIC, I think is what the format is, so an IDIC draft. So, and then one, it looks like that actually might not happen. It looks like I was looking on the website, and it looks like everybody wants to play Voyager Warp Speed. I hope I have enough product, because I have very little Voyager left. So hopefully there's enough product, but should be fun. 1E should be a lot of fun. Grind your face out with 5 rounds of 1E with a final confrontation. So lots of trek. Come out and fly, get your money's worth for flying out.
Justin, I'll check my stock. I bet I still have some Voyager product.
I should have enough. I've got enough for, I think, 10. I don't think we'll have more than 10 players, but yeah, extra for emergencies, that would be great. But yeah, those things going good. Yeah, well, not much there, but yeah, look forward to seeing everybody in a couple months.
Awesome. Thank you, Justin. So did anybody, we had no old business as far as I could tell. I went and looked back through a couple of the old, went back and looked through a couple of the old agendas, and I did not see any old business that we needed to bring back up. Did anybody have anything that they wanted to do or bring up new business?
I have a question from the YouTube chat from Ben Leipzig. Why are we still doing buys? I don't travel to events these days to sit around and not play. Could there be a better reward, like maybe an extra victory point on your first game or something? I assume that's directed towards mostly Chris, but anybody.
I would say right now we're just kind of winding down the way things have historically worked in anticipation of the reward store. And Charlie had alluded to that, Brian had alluded to that. The plan going forward is going to be your participation at regionals, locals, whatever. It's all going to kind of accrue, some type of point system. And then it's up to you as the player what you want to spend that on. Me personally, I absolutely will take the leg up at Continentals and at Worlds, because last year at Worlds, I wouldn't have made it to day 2 if I didn't have a bye headed into those two, that event. But, that's not for everybody. If you'd rather go and, play round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's cool. That means you can use those points on some type of borderless foil or whatever that you want. It's all going to be, ideally tailored toward the player.
Fun fact, Michael Van Bremen has never played a round 1.
Like ever? At Worlds or where?
I'm kidding.
Feels like it. Guy wins everything.
It sounds like one of those Chuck Norris facts,
Yeah.
Michael Van Bremen has never played a round 1 game.
Just enough to be plausible. I mean, dude always seems to have a buy from something.
Was it Continentals last year or the year before where it was like there were 15 participants and 12 of them had a first round bye or something like that?
That's happened a few times. I know when I was running stuff at Gen Con, we had a couple Worlds rounds where it was like there's 30 people playing and round 1 is 3 games.
Last year's Continentals here is what Ryan's thinking of. For TUI, we had, I think it was 13 or something. And everybody but one player had an earned buy. So we just said, as a group, wasn't my decision. I make that clear. We said, let's actually just jump to round 2 and everybody can have a lunch break. And that seemed to be a much better idea than having us actually pretend to play round 1 with one person sitting there for an hour.
Everybody has a buy in round 1. Is there a round 1?
That's
Or is round 2 round 1?
Round 2 was round 1.
It's like the tree in the forest bullshit. I don't know.
Even the person who didn't
Everybody's
qualify
special.
with a buy. Yeah, even the person who didn't qualify with a buy got the buy. So
it was a unique situation where it was travel day too. So people were like, if I can eat lunch and then leave town an hour early, well, that's good for us. So we didn't want to bust anybody's chops too much.
But to answer that question, or to reiterate the answer, like going forward, you won't, after the new system's in place, you won't get a buy. You'll get points that were equivalent to getting a buy, but you could use those on whatever rewards
you'll get
system.
Points to buy promos, to buy play mats. You could buy a buy if you want, assuming we want to still even do that. But there'll be lots of shiny and pretty that you can spend your points on instead of this. Because if you get a buy and don't go, it's worthless. It's like I won this prize. It's not a prize. So this way you'll get points, and then you can cash those into whatever you want. And then
2 things: I will always buy a buy because I suck at this game clearly, and 2, we're not going to call them Decipher dollars, right? Like, just to be clear, that's not going to be the thing.
D-Bucks,
not D-Bucks. That's what I was thinking.
D-Bucks.
Oh my, there's a deep cut.
All I have to say is, Chris, our game at Worlds, was about ready to. Yeah, that was an interesting. Interesting true tie there.
Which one, man?
Day two.
Okay. Where we both played like crap on camera. Like, I don't want to. I've tried to block that out. That's become a bad one.
Aggro Borg versus 6 Planet Klingons.
Yeah, that was. I blocked that one out because I felt like both of us didn't play well on camera.
Well, I think if anybody wants to get in on the 1E regional, it's not all balls in a vice, because I can guarantee I'm bringing a bad deck.
Oh,
it's gonna be fun.
All right, that's good. I just counted the world champions and was like, there's a lot of people who've won worlds that are not me in here.
All right, well, I think that's all we've got then. Anybody want to move to adjourn the meeting?
I move to adjourn.
All right, we got a second.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
All right, awesome. Thank you. Thanks to Ben for watching live. I didn't see any last questions I was looking in the dojo, so I didn't look at the forum, so let's see. I'm not seeing any questions on the forum, so I think we are good to go. So thanks, everybody.